Work.
When Mel Gibson's Passion movie, do you want me to talk to you or to the camera, by the way? Okay. When Mel Gibson's Passion movie came out, I attended an ICJS showing of the film, which was followed by a panel discussion. And I was struck by the fact that there really weren't any evangelical voices on the panel, or frankly in the kind of interfaith conversations that I had been aware of, if not myself participating in. So I introduced myself to Roseanne Catalano from ICJS, and she invited me to attend a clergy study event, which I did, and I've pretty much been coming to these things ever since.
Excellent. Is there an experience in interfaith dialogue about another person or tradition that impacts the way you view, think, or act in the world?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think one of the best things about my job is I get to study Torah with rabbis. I am, as an evangelical, I'm intensely committed to preaching the text, to teaching the text, understanding the text with integrity. And I find that studying the Tanakh with my Jewish friends gives me access to a rich tradition of interpretation, whether it's my friends personally or the resources that they suggest. Frankly, just the experience of interacting with them over these texts and the issues they raise is tremendously helpful to me as I understand issues of interpretation and of theology and of ethics. I found that to be the case in my interactions with my other Christian friends as well, from other traditions in the Christian faith. But I found it to be the case across the board, whether it's with Reconstructionist or Orthodox rabbis or anybody in between.
Excellent. And are there ways you have been transformed by your experiences in interfaith dialogue?
I have. I think primarily I've experienced a deepening of respect and appreciation of the rich tradition of biblical interpretation in the history of Jewish thought. I was aware that it was there, but I hadn't really swum around in it much. And not only to be aware of the Talmud, for example, but to interact with people who are colleagues, people who are doing the same kind of work I'm doing in a different context, who are approaching the text with that same passion for fidelity and for understanding it in their particular context, as it applies to their context, but also understanding the text in its original context and recognizing the ways in which its interpretation over the years color our understanding of it today and the way that our communities are formed. Frankly, I've been grateful to make some very good friends with colleagues in the rabbinate especially, who also deal with not only the challenges, the fun challenges, the opportunities, but the real challenges of interpretation, of preaching, but also dealing with boards and budgets and visitations and all those kinds of things. I'm really grateful to count many of my rabbi friends in the area as genuine personal friends.
Excellent. Well, that does it for our official questions.
Okay.
So if there's any other thoughts you had or wanted to share with us, feel free.
Is there any particular angle you guys want to make sure you're hitting?
I think maybe it's kind of geared toward what's your personal involvement, okay. What got you into it.
Let me have one other angle on this too, which is it was a genuine surprise to me to find myself as an evangelical pastor actively involved in interfaith conversations. Not that I was afraid of them or disinterested in them, but frankly most evangelicals are not as involved in these conversations as our friends in the main line in the Catholic Church. One reason is that we're often not invited to them in the first place. And another reason is that many of these conversations operate on assumptions that would immediately preclude evangelicals, or would at least make many evangelicals feel that they might not have a place at the table initially. And I'm grateful to the ICJS for deliberately ensuring that there's space around the table for me, not in a way that compromises the integrity of its mission or its identity, but also not in a way that would force me to compromise the convictions and commitments that I have about the nature of Scripture and the course of salvation history. I think as evangelicalism grows and becomes more and more dominant in the religious landscape of America over the 21st century, it's going to be more and more important for evangelicals to be included in some of these conversations from which we've historically been excluded, and for the theological perspectives we bring to be recognized and to be interacted with respectfully, as much as it's going to be important for us as evangelicals to be understanding and engaging our neighbors in the Jewish community, as well as our mainline brothers and sisters, and our Catholic brothers and sisters, and Orthodox brothers and sisters, as we grow up as a movement.
Fantastic.
Good.
Excellent statement.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.